Bonjour à tous. 19 heures de commencer notre première session. La première session, c'est sur le rapport au niveau global des organisations qui travaillent dans les mêmes espèces que APNIC. Nous avons un rapport de deux autres régions Internet. Nous avons le rapport aussi des autres organisations qui nous travaillent ensemble. Nous avons aussi ces rapports aussi. Nous avons un rapport de Ayana. J'aimerais inviter Paul Wilson de donner une mise à jour sur APNIC. Merci beaucoup. Je remercie toute personne qui est ici. Après l'événement social que nous avons hier, réseau pour l'accueil, il y avait beaucoup d'excitement aussi. Nous avons peur des personnes à cause de cela. Mais c'est de la part de APNIC, qui est la région Internet de la région Pacifique. C'est une région qui, dans la région de le point de structure et stratégie actuelle que nous avons de servir nos membres aussi, supporter le développement de l'Internet, aussi coopérer avec la communauté internationale et aussi travailler avec les autres organisations. C'est de la façon que nous devons faire rapport à aussi les dépenses et les autres activités quelques années passées. Et nos membres, ils voulaient voir que la façon dont nous passons l'argent, surtout des dépenses, et selon
into finer subdivisions as well. Our membership is continuing to grow in a pretty steady way. We divide this membership report up into members directly of APNIC and members of our 6 or so NIRs, National Internet Registries. But we look like hitting about 17,000 members in total by the end of the year. And that's something over 7,000 direct APNIC members. Now here in one chart is all the detail of our resource allocations. So we had a dip a couple of years ago in the overall allocation activity, but we're maintaining about the same levels when it comes to IPv4 and IPv6 allocations. These charts are split up by our respective sub-regions, by the way, East Asia, Southeast, South Asia, etc. The thing that's increasing is IPv4 transfers in a fairly linear fashion, so it looks like we will have around 400 transfers in the year of 2019 by the end of the year at the current rate. One of the big projects at the moment that we have is RPKI, in encouraging our membership to certify their resources, which they can do through the MyAPNIC portal. I think we all know what RPKI is about, effectively providing digitally signed who-is objects, or effectively that way. And those digitally signed objects can then be used for useful things like route, origin, authorization. So we've currently got, 8% of our IPv4 space under ROAs, under origin authorization, and 22% of IPv6. So some big V6 holders have gone and put their V6 space under ROAs. Something else that we've been working on is something called resource tagged attestation. That's a new standard which we've submitted, which allows the use of an RPKI certificate to sign any arbitrary digital object. So you could use it, for instance, to sign a letter of authorization for service provisioning to an upstream or to a peer. The APNIC Academy is our relaunched training platform. So it's WordPress based. It's got SCORM, content management, virtual labs. We've had actually just in 2018 we had 1,500 people enrolled and 1,000 people certified under that course, under that academy, and we've got a bunch of courses which are listed there, and a bunch more. We're carrying courses for partners, like a manners course for ISOC as well, for instance, and a few others. Anyone can use the APNIC Academy. You can sign up for free, so you're welcome to try it, apnic.academy if you like. Now, our engagements. This is a map of last year. We don't have the stats yet for what this year is looking like, but just as a illustration of the scale of the global or regional engagements at APNIC. Last year, 66 trainings, 25 different NOG events, 32 different security events, 12 IPv6 events, 2 major conferences, and that's a total of 204 engagements around the Asia Pacific last year. We have made the big move a couple of years ago of establishing something called the APNIC Foundation, and that's effectively a fundraising arm of APNIC to help us to fund more of the internet development activities that we've been running over the years. We've traditionally done that only on member funds to about 20% of APNIC's budget, but the point is that we've always been asked to do more than we've been able to. And so the foundation is a mechanism for doing that, so we can raise funds to the extent that funding partners are available to do more stuff. And it's been pretty successful. There was over US $1 million raised for projects that we were undertaking just in the first 18 months of running the foundation. And by way of a few examples, we've got the long-running Information Society Innovation Fund. That's the part of our foundation which is like a grant-giving project, and we have, I think you'd be familiar with the FIRE program at AFRINIC, so this is a similar thing. The foundation has also supported some pretty significant work in the Pacific. We were involved with supporting new certs around the Pacific, and so the first 3 Pacific Island certs were established with our support in Tonga a couple of years ago, and last year in Papua New Guinea and in Vanuatu. And that's something that's been supported, as I say, by funding raised through the foundation. It's also, that Pacific project has also included training for law enforcement agents around the Pacific on the standard RIR-related skills and capacities like understanding and using WHOIS and that sort of stuff. We had a major training program in PNG. So the APEC meeting, the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Intergovernmental Group, had a major meeting in PNG, and there was some concern about the need to upgrade and to harden the ISP infrastructure there. We had a series of 16 workshops in PNG and trained a good 150 or so engineers there with a lot of different training content. And that again, maybe $500,000 funding by the APNIC Foundation, which allowed us to do that series of projects. Something I want to focus on a little bit here is a major part of APNIC's planning activity, which is our periodic survey. So every 2 years we run a pretty major survey across the entire community, including members and non-members, anyone who wants to, who takes an interest in APNIC. And we finished our 10th survey last year. And that includes, as I say, it's a pretty comprehensive thing. It includes focus groups around the region to develop a good and current survey form, and then an online survey, which gets a good 1,200 or so responses. And it's actually the biggest input that we have into the APNIC planning process. So it's quite important that every 2 years our membership community understands that this survey is coming along, and they can provide us with the input that is used at the board level to actually make the subsequent annual and periodic planning. So it's an independent, anonymous survey. It gives us both a performance measure of how APNIC is actually doing in service performance, and also the most important part is really about future priorities and expectations of APNIC. So I'll just show you a bit about how that works. We do comparative reporting, of course. So in terms of overall satisfaction, the charts here show that we've got a pretty high rate of satisfaction, like 91% approval on quality of service, 88% on value of membership, 91% on value of services. And just in small ways, those numbers have generally improved over the years. And between the last survey and the latest survey, they've also generally improved. But as I say, the most important stuff is about what our members are experiencing as challenges and what they expect or would like APNIC to do about those challenges. So here's an accounting of the general challenges, the highest rated challenges of our members. And 27% said network security was one of their greatest challenges. Then we have scarcity of IPv4 addresses, we have hiring and keeping employees, et cetera, et cetera. And we report this in detail, including a breakdown according to the sub-region of the Asia Pacific, and also the difference between least developed economies and developing and developed economies of the region. So all that data is there in the survey report. So what's important is to find out what first are the challenges, but then what are the things that APNIC could help with, or what do our members expect us to do? So we break it down here where we're asking, in this case, about security challenges. And so the security challenges at the top include phishing, spam, malware, ransomware, etc. But our members don't really expect us to do anything about that. What they actually want us to do is to provide training courses, to provide collaboration with technical security organizations around the region, to share insights on security, etc. So that difference between the challenges and the sort of requests or the interest in APNIC services is quite important. We do the same thing when it comes to IPv6 scarcity. So the biggest challenge in relation to IPv6 scarcity is the challenge of deploying IPv6 for half of our members. Then the cost of buying IPv4 is a big challenge, the cost and complexity of NATs. Interestingly, the top-rated request that we have here in terms of how APNIC should or could help is 57% saying they would like APNIC to be involved in reclaiming or recovering unused IP address space. So that's given us an indication for a project this year, which is to be looking at doing a survey of the IPv6 space in our pools that might be allocated but hasn't been used at all, for instance. So we want to be getting in touch with the people who have that address space and see whether they want to return it to us, or for instance put it on the market to make it available to others. Anyway, this is the sort of thing that we can get out of this survey, and as I say, we conduct this exercise every 2 years, and it gives us a really good predictable, repeated way of making sure that APNIC is in touch with the membership and the community. And just finally, it's quite important at the moment because we're just coming to the end of our current strategic plan, which was finishing up in 2019. So we're in the process now of preparing for strategic planning for 2020 to 2023 on a 4-year cycle. And that's interesting because we're able to use the latest survey to really drive that planning process, and the next survey which comes 2 years later will sort of give us a halfway point where we can take the survey input and really sort of cross-check it against how we're going on that strategic plan. So we've got quite a heavyweight process, a serious process for the strategic planning with some expert facilitators who are helping. We're running workshops with staff and with the board of APNIC, using the survey as the main input, as I say. So that's something that's going to be going on just through the rest of this year, so that we can do not only set the planning for the next 4 years, but do our detailed planning for next year on that basis. So that's all I have. If you'd like to stay in touch with what's happening at APNIC and in the region, we've got blog.apnic.net. That's a pretty active website these days, and all of these social media, the usual social media channels. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that, or to pass it back to the next. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. I think I'd like to take questions at the end. So let's have all 5 presentations, and then we'll take bulk questions. Thank you. Okay, so next,